Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Well, the drivers of the Tobacco Road Cup Series have found themselves in quite the predicament. We're turning left and right here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at the ROVAL, the North American pinnacle of motorsports, man. NASCAR all oval racing really runs through North Carolina, especially Charlotte. And we're going to have one heck of a night tonight. Thank you guys for inviting us into your home here on a Wednesday night. My name, Mac Nelson. With me, broadcast partner Emmett Crow is back after a 1-week hiatus. He had a little bit of a battle. He had to go slay the dragon or something. I don't know what he was doing. But hey, Emmett, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It's actually my little brother's 28th birthday, so that's...
Hey, man,
to eat.
Close enough, close enough.
I mean, I ate a steak at Roadhouse, so I mean, I guess I ate some dragon meat.
basically the same thing, but it's going to be one fun night here tonight. Like I said, we are at the ROVAL here, located in Concord, North Carolina. Opened in 2024, this says, because it's the 2025 layout of the ROVAL here. Yes, it's going to be the new ROVAL that we are testing out. Or not really testing out. It's been a thing for a couple of years now. But the drivers are going to have to tackle that. It's going to be one heck of a challenge. Bringing up your calendar, we're getting close to the chase. We've got the ROVAL here for 40 laps this week. And then we have Auto Club for 120 laps next week. And then begins our chase. The top 16 are going to battle for the title. We start with Martinsville on April 29th. Going to be 200 laps there around Martinsville. And Emmett, 2 weeks out from the chase. What's going to be the key takeaway for these drivers here tonight? What do they got to do to get to kind of get things prepared for the chase?
Well, they got to keep their nose clean, and I'll tell you, Mac, I am very surprised that LJE Racing is not in the field tonight, especially their golden boy and our probably our road course ringer of the league, Mr. Blake Cannon, is nowhere to be found here.
Yes, sir. He will not be here tonight. But we do have the form of Patrick Millette, who represents LJG Racing. So he will be in this race. However, we got to get to the championship points. Blake Cannon, speaking of, he is in first place with 604 points. James McRae, almost 60 points down, is going to be in P2. Travis Everett going to only be 20 points back from McRae. That's going to be your top three sitters. GT Irizarry, Brandon McLaughlin going to round out the top 5 of your points. The drivers are gridding up here tonight, so we got to get through the starting grid for tonight's race.
But here's the thing also, Mac. I was going to say, this is going to actually, with James McRae running this race, even if he doesn't win, he's still going to get probably, 20 points, and he can break down that lead from Blake Cannon that we saw.
Yes, sir. I agree. For your starting lineup for tonight's race, it's going to be Curtis Preston in the number 29. He is going to be on pole. James Johnson going to be outside row number 1 in that number 48 machine. Our lovely race control, David Bush III, is going to be in P3. Me and him talked for a little bit before this race. He said he is very, very excited to run here tonight. Patrick Millette, who we touched on earlier, representing LJG Racing, he's going to be in P4 with James McRae. Starting out row number 3, Gary Braylon, defending champion, part of Quack Pack, is going to be outside row number 3. Scott Matthews in the number 7 is going to be in P7. Chris Perry in the number 34 will be in P8. Chris Toppings going to be inside row number 5 with Brandon McLaughlin behind him. Moving on, it is going to be... Oh, I apologize. Hey, there I am. The broadcast car. There I am, man. But no, not gonna be in the driver's seat tonight, Emmett. That would only make things just 100 times worse. So, I'm not gonna do that tonight.
I don't know about 100 times worse.
I don't know. I do love me some road course racing. I do love it.
I was about to say, this is your forte. We are on the road course.
Yeah, but not in these boats. I feel like when I get a NASCAR Next Gen out on a road course, I feel like I'm playing Sea of Thieves. I can't lie. I just feel like I'm singing sea shanties and I'm driving a boat through the ocean. That's just what it feels like.
Yeah, I think NASCAR should take note of how the ARCA cars, how successful it's been, and they need to go back to that body style. This next gen body style is just not working out.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that, and I don't know, it just, the luster behind the sport, behind NASCAR, it's just gone. I just don't feel anything special from these drivers anymore.
Well, it's a sad deal when the Craftsman Truck Series and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series are beating the Cup Series week in and week out as far as ratings. And I don't know where they're coming up with these numbers for the Cup race, because there's no way that many people are watching the Cup races.
Yeah, I can't lie. It's just, I don't know what they need to do. I think they need to shorten them or something, do some better advertisement. I don't know. I really don't know what to do. It just, get a better car, maybe, is a decent start.
Yeah, it's a start. I mean, when Steve Phelps took over, that's when it just went down in the crapper. And then we got Steve O'Donnell out, thank the Lord. But, I mean, they're listening a little bit, bringing back the chase and bringing back some iconic tracks like Chicagoland and having the championship race back at Homestead. So, I mean, they're making improvements, but it's going to take a lot more than just those little deals to improve this series.
Yeah, I agree, but that's going to be the real world counterpart. And here in the sim, we've got the Tobacco Road Cup Series green flag before the final bus stop. And we are live here at Charlotte. It's going to be hard down into turn number 1 for Curtis Preston. That's going to be a big wall tap for Scott Matthews. Oh no, Scott Matthews and Chris Toppings have had a turn 1 to forget. It's going to be a meatball flag, but back towards the front,
man.
James Johnson taking the inside on Curtis Preston, who goes wide heading into turn. Well, I forgot, we're on a new ROVAL, so I don't know the turn numbers. Oh no, but down the infield straight into the penultimate corner before we get on to the oval. You know, the good part of Charlotte, what most people like, the oval, man. Coke 600 presents one of the best oval races of the year every single year.
Yeah, and you know what's going to be interesting, Mac? Remember, there's that chicane right there on the quad oval, and there's the chicane on the backstretch as well.
Yeah, the 2 bus stops on the back straight and the front straight. Very, very close to mimicking the Daytona Road Circuit for any viewers that might not be familiar with the Charlotte ROVAL. Kind of mimics the Daytona ROVAL in a way with the 2 bus stops, but nonetheless, James Johnson still out in front. He had a very, very shaky practice. Took him a couple minutes. I was in here for the entire practice. You know, I like to do that from time to time, come in here and really just observe, but it took James Johnson a fair amount of time to even complete a lap clean, and look at him now, just has instantly learned, and he is leading the pack.
Well, the cool thing also that iRacing provides you is at any point during a race, practice qualifying, you can actually do a test session, and you're not going to mess up the race. You're not going, oh, he locked up, Curtis Preston locked up the brakes big time. But you can actually get in here with these cars. They're going to be ghost cars, but you can actually run with them, and you can see how your car is going to handle, and you don't mess up by showing up on the broadcast, and you just run your race and see how it handles.
Yeah, David Bush the third in the number 32, usually running race control. He loves himself a road course race. He's on a whole lot of leagues here that Racer NEXUS actually covers. If there's a road race going on and Racer NEXUS is covering it, there's a very good chance this man is in the grid, part of Lunatic Racing. And he talked to me. We talked to each other before the show, like we do typically every week here. We kind of tend to kind of vibe out, kind of chat for a little bit before the going gets serious, and we have to do our jobs for the league here. But he said he's coming out here and he's looking for a win. So he said, these guys might beat me in 1 lap, but I don't think they're going to beat me in 40 laps. And I was like, okay, that's cold. So even though he didn't qualify up front, he thinks he's going to have a better 40 laps than everybody here on the grid.
Yeah, that's very interesting. We'll definitely have to keep our eye out for that. But I mean, right now, James Johnson, you know, he had the former member of LJG Racing, and then, you know, we found out that he was no longer a part of LJG Racing, and he's had a tough little couple weeks, Mac, but looking good today for sure.
Yeah, I agree, but James McRae in that Camry behind him going to be running a 125.11, and that is going to be the purple lap for the race. So James McRae currently your fastest car on track, and in practice it looked like he could have been one to, go out and kind of check out. Every single lap, as you see, look at those brakes glowing.
Oh!
Absolutely steaming, and that's going to be an off track for David Bush. And whoa, big problem with Curtis Preston behind. He's going to have to reverse. And I believe that might be a left front that might be injured, maybe a little bent in. As we go back and take a look here, Curtis Preston. Oh, just a little too quick on throttle. Okay, good. That's fine, though. No damage, so he's going to be able to continue. So very, very smart on the side of Curtis Preston to not kind of compound that and make it into a really big mistake.
Well, I was about to say, I could tell he saved it, but yeah, it's just, it hurt him on time, though, Mac, but he'll rebound from this. I mean, we've got what? Let's see. We've got 37 laps to go.
Yeah, 37 laps to go here. So, yeah, I agree. It's a long time. Drivers have a long time out here.
David Bush. Glad to see him out here running.
Yeah, and look at, I was just kind of starstruck by how much bump there is in that turn number 4, coming down off of turn number 3. And those cars, we saw it in that kind of close-up look at David Busch just a second ago, as he is going to run purple with a 125.03. James McRae, it should be noted, ran a faster lap last lap, but it was an invalid lap, so he must have had an off track or hit the wall somewhere. So David Busch with the fastest clean lap, but James McRae has the fastest unofficial lap. So we'll have to see when these two Titans clash. James McRae currently having to deal with lap traffic already. James Johnson, you saw out of focus there, locking up the brakes hard heading into the hairpin before we get out onto the oval. So James Johnson may be starting to show a little bit of cracks in his armor.
Yeah, starting to show some cracks, and I just want to, you know, the thing is, if David Busch would win this race, if we would go back, if we were on the old system, he'd be in the playoffs. But you know, if he wins this race, I don't think he'll make the chase. Do you, Mac?
David Busch?
Yeah.
No, he's race control, bro. He's only out here.
I know.
He's only out here. Yeah, he's only out here 1 week. Of course he's not going to make the chase. But I agree with you. I think that's what makes the new, which is the old system, just infinitely better. It's just, like, I agree. Although I do love me a good SVG, you know, I love me a good road course ringer guy, but one win and you're in. It's racing. There's 36 races on the calendar. Someone's going to get a fluke win at least once a season. That's just how it is.
Well, we saw it last weekend at Bristol. I mean, like I said, the old system, Ty Gibbs would be in the playoffs. But with this new system,
it's just a good points day.
Yeah, just a good points day. I mean, yeah, he got his first win, but he is nowhere near locked into the playoffs, to the chase.
Yeah, Brandon McLaughlin have a little bit of an off track. That's going to come right before the hairpin. Once we get out onto the oval, he is still spinning those tires, Emmett. Wow, he got almost 15% into the oval corner, turn number 1, and he was still spinning those tires.
Yeah, just got a little too hot in there, and you know, you'll see that as we see those brake rotors glowing. I wish we were under the lights because, oh man, Mac, they would look amazing. Yeah,
I agree, and there were talks with the admin team about having it be a night race, but unfortunately, the admins did not think the infield was properly lit for a night race. So understandable. We don't get to race under the lights here at the ROVAL, but oh man, what a time it would be if we did.
I was about to say, that would be interesting for sure.
Just blind, not knowing where you're going. I'd love it. It'd make for good content, dude. That'd make for a dang good broadcast, you know?
Yeah, Rob would have to put that one up on the IG page for sure.
Yeah, as we see James Johnson hitting the apex there in that hairpin perfectly. And that's going to be the most challenging corner tonight for these drivers. And that's where you see the people with road course experience. Your James Johnson, James McRae, David Busch, Curtis Preston. All those drivers are very, very fast through that corner. They know just how slow you need to get in, just when to hit the throttle. And that's when you see, like, just in that example right there, Curtis Preston, you saw he took the hairpin, hit the apex. Patrick Millette was just a little wide and back on throttle just a little too early, and it resulted in a big, big gap in that difference, and or a big difference in that gap, I should say, as Curtis Preston now 0.7 of a second away when it was maybe 3.5 tenths coming out of that hairpin.
Yeah, definitely, and that is a huge trying to catch up to James Johnson.
Pat Millette
Patrick Millette.
Blew through the final chicane. That is going to be a very, very hot rear tire for Patrick Millette. Hopefully he doesn't spin it coming into turn number 1. No, he's going to be very, very vigilant on that loud pedal, which is exactly what you need here, Emmett. You just need good throttle control.
Yeah, good throttle control for sure.
As we now see Pat Millett in that number 8 Ghost Tequila car. A little bit wide at the second right-hander in the infield. Now coming for the final right-hander before the hairpin. As on the brakes heavy, look at those rotors glowing. A lot of pressure at the front of that brake system for these NASCARs. It's not going to be like a GT3 car or, you know, any road course racing car where the brakes are kind of amped towards the back. It's going to be a system where those front brakes are going to get extremely hot. So these drivers are going to have to be very vigilant on how hard they actually press that brake pedal and make sure there isn't some, you know, faulty stuff going on there. But more to the point, James Johnson still leading this race. We are 8 laps in now, working on number 9. Going to be 32 laps to go. James Johnson into turns number 2 and 3, I believe, if we actually pull the track info back up. As I was not even aware that there was a new, or I was aware, but I'd completely forgotten that the new ROVAL had actually made it into service. I know it came out last year, or actually 2024, but I had no idea that was the version we were racing here today until I got into the session. So yes, it's 3, 4, 5, 6. A series of 4 right-handers in that infield. So basically, you're doing an oval and then a reverse oval. So that's always a fun one. As now James Johnson in the number 48, going to boast a very impressive 4.5-second lead over David Bush III. Now there is going to be a stage break. That is going to come at the end of lap number 15. Even though we do have our race control out on track, we are still going to be taking a stage break. End of lap 15. And I was also notified that the... Excuse me there. Had to call for just a second. It has been said that the fuel window is going to be about 18 to 20 laps. So unfortunately, because of the stage break at lap number 15, there really isn't going to be too much strategy when it comes to the fuel window. Now, in my mind, if there was not a stage break and the fuel window was 18 to 20 laps and we're running 40 laps, that would give us a chance to see some real cool fuel saving to make it a one-stop race rather than a two-stop race. But with the stage break coming at the end of lap 15, gonna be hard to kind of get any sort of strategy in there, Emmett.
Yeah, and it's very interesting that they put the stage break at 15. I was thinking it'd be at 20 or 21, you know.
Yeah, I should have said something, honestly. I should have said something to the admin team about it, because just no stage break would make it to where drivers would have to save that fuel to make it that 20 laps to be able to make it a one-stop race. I think that would have thrown a really cool strategy bone into the mix, but, you know, unfortunately, we do have a stage break, end of lap 15, so won't really get to see any of that. So it's just going to be, you know, kind of like the wrestling fans say, it's just going to be pure graps. It's just going to be just straight up race. Who can race better? No strategy really into play.
Well, and Chris Toppings, that's what I just want to say while I was laughing. Chris Toppings came on and said, "That's the first time I haven't wrecked in quarter one. Praise the Lord."
As we see, coming down from the bottom of the grid, we have Scott Matthews, who is trying to complete lap number 9. He is going to sit just a few laps down. Same story for Chris Toppings and Chris Perry, who are both also completing their 9th lap. Everybody else on the lead lap is going to start with Gary Brayland in P7, and from there you've got Brandon McLaughlin, Patrick Millett, James McRae, Curtis Preston, David Bush III, and then your leader still leading here, the 48 of James Johnson.
Well, and here's the thing. Gary Braylon throwing me off, you know. That's usually cousin Carl's scheme that he runs, and tonight he's riding the Dente with the Intimidente scheme of Hocevar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do like that. I also just like Chili's, man. I think Chili's is a pretty good establishment.
So you like Chili's, but you don't like Chick-fil-A or
Nah, dude.
KFC.
I don't like pickly chicken. I don't like over-greased chicken. Now, you know what? We're at a road course. I'm making time for it. I'm making time for the conversation. I think Popeyes has the best chicken, and it's not even close.
Well, I'm jealous that you can go to freaking Cookout.
Yeah, that's true. We do have Cookout, man. $5 trays that are no longer $5. They're $6.40. Come on.
Yeah. All you East Coast people talking about Cookout, and I'm like sitting here looking like a bum on a log, like, what is Cookout?
Yeah. Well, hey, it just comes with the territory, man. The nice. Oh, James Johnson having a little bit of a moment. Coming into the final bus
my
stop.
gosh.
Oh, he's just going to blow the second part of the chicane. It's okay.
Oh,
That,
I was about to say,
yeah, I was going to say.
is that a penalty?
Well, if we were in any North American road racing series, that would almost certainly be a 5-second penalty. However, we do not have the ability for custom penalties within the iRacing official service. So, I think he's just going to get away with it. I think it's going to be one of those buggy slowdowns, but besides that, I think he's pretty good.
See, my luck, if I try that, it's going to say automatically 2-hour freaking hold.
yeah. 2-hour hold. You have to buy your subscription again. Account got banned.
Yeah.
James Johnson still being chased by David Bush III. Gap now down to 4.77. Last time we checked in a few minutes ago, it was 5.3. Unfortunately, there are not any battles going on besides the backmarker battle here between Chris Toppings and Chris Perry. It's going to be Chris squared here. As you see back in the unfocused part of the frame, Scott Matthews is right there looking to make a move. It's a big battle for P8 here.
Yeah, it is for sure.
As David Bush III is going to be in second place. Drivers are going to be seeing the blue flag. Oh, David Bush is going to lock it up.
Oh, my gosh.
Luckily, he's going to hit the foam, but no, that car is cooked. Oh, no, David Bush.
Does he have a fast repair?
I would assume he's got a spare car. I don't think anybody's really had a need to use their spare car. I don't think, anyway. Oh, and Chris Perry's had a moment as well. Chris Perry is back in the pits. We'll take a look at what happened to Chris Perry, and then I'm going to try to find what happened to David Bush. As you see, Chris Perry.
Oh, just locked it up.
I don't think he locked it up. I think that was surrender. I think that was Chris Perry just calling it a night. As we see here, I believe this is going to be it. And I saw it out of the focus of the frame when we were watching Chris Squared have that battle. I saw David Bush kind of send it a little too ambitiously into the final chicane here before the start-finish line. You see him, he's got a whole lot of speed here. Brakes are absolutely cooking. He's going to compromise his line. He's going to be a little tight coming out. And because of that car positioning, I think it's going to really, he just underestimated how much he was going to have to turn the wheel because of that suboptimal line.
Gosh.
And the front's just, locked up. And, ooh. Yeah, that is tough for David Bush.
The good thing is there's a lot of lap cars. So if he brings it in, I don't think he's going to lose that many spots.
Yeah, here he comes into turn number 1. I mean, wow, he is just limping this car. Oh, no.
Yeah, now he took... Never mind, I thought I saw him go to the pits, but... I must be seeing things, because I don't know where that would have came out of.
As that is very unfortunate news for David Busch. Meanwhile, James Johnson is 20 seconds into the good. He's got 20 seconds over Curtis Preston in the number 28. So James Johnson looking a whole lot like Max Verstappen out here, and he is running away with it. As that is going to be our stage break. James Johnson crossing the line at the end of 15 means it is stage break time. Cars are going to bunch back up, and we're going to go green once again. But while they do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Tobacco Road Cup Series here on Racer Nexus.
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping. Rain is clearing up. Rain should be gone for now. Nothing but sunshine all day.
Nascar can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all
going to take it in the end.
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn one.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As that's still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh,
and
my
to the
goodness.
line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Tobacco Road Cup Series, live on Racer Nexus. My name, Mac Nelson, with me, Emmett Crow, and if you're just now tuning in, it's been a pretty quiet race, all things considered. James Johnson out to an incredible lead now. It was 20 seconds before the stage break safety car, and unfortunately, David Busch III had himself a moment going into turn number 1, but I'm not entirely sure what rule or policy this is following, but David Busch has gotten all of his laps back, and he now sits in P7, which is the furthest away from the leader. We do have a smaller grid here tonight. It is unfortunate, but it unfortunately is just kind of how things roll here. Emmett, what's been your favorite thing you've seen here tonight?
Well, I haven't seen much, but yeah, David Busch has really been a real surprise to me. I mean, he's done an awesome job, and it's going to be interesting now, Mac, seeing him drive up through the field and see if he can finally catch up to James Johnson as he was trying to do before that accident happened.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just locked it up going into T1. He was on the suboptimal line, wasn't picking up any rubber from the track, and yeah, just really bad scenario, locked it up. Had to go into pits, use the spare car, but now he is out here and back. Like I said, he is in P7, so it's not the end of the world for him, especially now because of everybody going to be all bunched up. There is opportunities for him to get right back into the mix. As
Yeah, definitely.
Scott Matthews still a couple laps down. He might be making those up now. I'm not entirely sure. Chris Perry also still 3 laps down. He is going to be sitting outside, or actually he is the last spot in the top 10. The only problem with that is the last spot on the grid. Well, actually not if you count me here. Come on. Look at that beautiful car, man. But James
What is
Johnson.
that? That logo for your helmet?
I have no idea what that logo is for the helmet. I don't know what that is. That is nothing.
It looked disturbing.
Yeah, I don't claim that. I don't claim that. I don't know how that got there. I have no idea what that is. But James Johnson has the task in front of him. He's got to keep everybody else behind him. Curtis Preston, though, man, early on in the race, he was cooking. He's had a few moments, and it's led to a very sad first half of the race for him. But if he can clean things up here, man, he might be overtaking James Johnson.
Yeah, definitely.
As lights are, I believe, going to go out on the pace car next time by. So we only have one more lap of yellow, and then we will be green for the rest of the night, unless there is just by chance some horrible accident that has like half the field. But with how spread out these times have been tonight, I really don't think we're going to see that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that either.
As we'll get a check on the pace car here. Lovely Porsche 992.
Oh, wow, they were able to get Chris Perry's car fixed.
So, Chris Perry. Yeah, unfortunate night for him. He has just not really been able to find that consistent pace that he needs, and it's been just really an unlucky night for him and Scott Matthews. Them to put in a whole lot of practice here. They were two of the first cars here in practice. They put in the time, and they just unfortunately cannot string it together here during the race.
Yeah, and that's just got to be frustrating knowing that you practiced all week long, put in the work, but for it not to pay off for you, just got to make you sick, and you start second thinking about, well, if I wouldn't, maybe I shouldn't have put in this time. No, you need to get that out of your mind, because now you're ready and you're hungry, and if you keep doing this, sooner or later you're going to find yourself in victory lane.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Good message to really all the iRacers out there, whether you're new or a veteran in the game or sim. I know some people really don't like that calling it the G word, the game. Everybody thinks it's a simulator, but at the end of the day, it is a game. And
But the G stands for Gatorade.
yeah. You're right. You're right. You are right about that one. But
Wait, did you say the G League?
what?
I thought you said the G League there for a second. That's what I was like.
No.
Oh, never mind.
But
I don't know
anyway,
what I'm
James
talking
Johnson.
about.
James Johnson in first here, still leading us as we work on completing lap number 20. Lights are out on the pace car, meaning we will be green here momentarily. And the grid as it sits is James Johnson, Curtis Preston, James McRae, Pat Millett, Brandon McLaughlin, Gary Braylon, David Bush III. That's going to be all your drivers on the lead lap. Chris Toppings, Scott Matthews, and Chris Perry are all going to be a couple laps down here.
Yeah, and like I said, tough break for Chris Perry and Chris Toppings. You know, like we were saying, they put in the work, practice week in and week out. I mean, day after day running laps, and you know, it's just frustrating as a driver. But like I said back, you just keep on that work ethic, and sooner or later a win's gonna fall in your lap.
Yep, I agree. As the green flag will fly, James Johnson out to an incredible start. It's going to be a drag race down to turn 1 for James McRae and Curtis Preston. 27 and the 29. James Johnson is wide. Pat Millett. Oh, it's everybody. The yellow flag.
Oh my gosh!
We might be
Curtis
seeing
Preston!
it. We might be seeing the full course yellow. Oh my goodness, almost everyone is around except James McRae. Mr. Consistent is back. Andy is here. James Johnson, though, still on the inside. It's going to be a drag race down the infield straight. Turn number 4, and then into turn number 5. It's going to be the final right-hander. Before we take it to the hairpin, they're still side by side. James Johnson's gonna hit the brakes. James McRae. Wow, James Johnson around the outside of the hairpin. What a fantastic move.
Yeah, and I cannot believe we did not get a full course caution right there back.
Yeah, that was crazy. We'll have to go back and take a look at that. This start here, oh my goodness.
Well, I wanted to look at it too because I didn't know if James Johnson jumped the start or not, because either Curtis Preston didn't get a good launch or something, because James Johnson, it looked like he had an advantage, but looking at it, I don't think he... Oh my gosh, he locked up the brakes big time too.
Oh.
But look at this. Oh, David Busch.
Oh no, Pat Millett gonna get in the way of Chris Perry too, and... Oh my goodness, yeah, what a sight there. So a crazy sight. James Johnson has established the position over James McRae. David Busch III is right there with him, though, in P3. So really the battle I think everyone wanted to see here tonight as we made our way through the first half of the race. Or up until the first stage break, really. James Johnson, James McRae, and David Busch III. These are the 3 Titans here tonight.
Yeah, the 3 best drivers for tonight, and it's showing it on the track. And what a job by David Busch to get back up to P3. And I mean, he's got, what, 19 to go, so he's got time. Oh my gosh, look at the run he got on James McRae.
Yeah, James McRae, I think, might have missed his brake marker a little bit, I think. Or maybe he was anticipating cold tires or something, and, yeah, that was really early on the brakes for him. And David Busch sure made him pay for that. That's going to close the delta by about a 10th. Now here comes David Busch down the inside. Whoa, that's going to be a curb hop. That's surely a slowdown for Mr. David Busch. However, he didn't really gain any time from it, so he might not have gotten a slowdown penalty. But... nonetheless, oh no, James Johnson got loose in turn number 1.
Oh man.
And he's gonna spin it.
Tough break for James Johnson. Dominating this race. Led every lap and now finds himself in P3.
Yeah, just ran the purple lap as well, James Johnson. It was a 24.70. for the number 48, so it was very, very quick. Even quicker off that restart than it was in the first half of the race, but oh no, that's just not what you want to see. We'll take another look.
Yeah, he might have had a Keselowski moment here. Well, he did have a Keselowski moment, but he definitely locked it up out of 1.
Yeah, I believe it was a little bit of wheel hop from catching that curb. And any bit of any bit of airborne, any sort of air time in these next gen cars, and those tires are gone.
Well, if we go back to, the second race at the ROVAL IRL where Keselowski was leading the field, and just everybody, that's where the meme came in that his controller disconnected, but just locked up the brakes and just went head on into on the Tubbs Heartburn corner, just ran straight into the wall.
Yeah.
So being told that the reason why GT Arizari is not here, his grandkid had a Little League game.
Well, isn't that cool? Nice. That is. You love seeing that.
I didn't know GT Arizari was old enough to be grandpa, but he is, apparently.
I didn't really know that either. I'll be honest, but hey, I'm rolling with it. I'm rolling with it.
Well, right now, David Bush is rolling, trying to catch James McRae.
Yeah, but last lap, it's going to be a 1:30 for David Bush. So, unfortunately, wasn't able to hit his marks.
But look at the run he gets, Mac, through the chicane right here.
Yeah, he is very good through that chicane. There is no doubt about that. That is probably, unfortunately, though, the only corner that he's better at than James McRae. It seems like every single lap, James McRae stretches the gap.
Oh, my gosh.
Until that
Look
bus
at the run he
stop.
just got.
Yeah, that is...
He's getting the runs through the chicane. Now coming up to Heartburn Corner. Just not going to get up. That's where McRae's so good on these road course turns. But the chicanes, David Bush has found something. And sooner or later, Mac, he's going to be able to catch him.
Yeah, I agree. I think David Bush is doing a fantastic job. He ran almost a second faster than James McRae that time around. So it'll be very interesting to see what exactly happens here, as we only have 16 laps to go, which sounds like a lot when you go to the road course, but truth be told, it really isn't, as these laps are getting done in a minute 25 most of the time, so we've really only got about 20 minutes left, which on a NASCAR scale seems like no time.
Yeah, definitely.
James Johnson going to run the fastest lap of the race last time around. 1:24.63 for that number 48. As he's doing a fantastic job of keeping things civil when it comes to the car, not upsetting it, not overdriving it. He's just letting the car do its thing, roll into these corners. And I think that's what's giving him the pace advantage. I think James McRae and David Bush, both of those drivers, are maybe just wrestling the wheel just a little too hard. You see it especially in the 27 of James McRae.
Oh, look at this. Look at the run David Bush got.
Oh, yeah. David Bush, yeah. Wow, down this infield straight. Coming down to the fourth right-hander. Now we head to the hairpin. James McRae has been just a hair faster through here recently. But that gap, no, it's going to shrink. It's going to go a tenth towards Bush. So now Bush has the run. Or actually, no, he doesn't. James McRae is building speed. And David Bush is out of the draft. So David Bush is going to have to get it in his favorite corner here. The back straight bus stop.
And don't count out James Johnson. He's coming fast, Mac, as we see him coming to the picture.
Yeah, around that bus stop, he has inserted himself. He ran 4/10 faster last lap around, so that's going to be a 3-lap swing for James Johnson in that number 48. So, yeah, I agree.
Gosh.
In just a few laps' time, if James Johnson can keep this up, he's going to be right there.
He's in the wall.
Oh, no. As we go on board into turn number 1. Oh, yeah, listen to that throttle control. These drivers, it seems like they rarely full throttle as they go down here. The entire infield, I guess multiple elevation changes, albeit small. It probably would upset something like a NASCAR with how the weight is distributed.
Chris Toppings. It looked like David Bush had a hard time getting around Chris Toppings there for a second.
Yeah, Chris Toppings representing Quack Pack Racing in that number 12. He's going to let James Johnson by. James Johnson now through the bus stop. It's going to be clean for him. Gap now 2 seconds to David Bush.
Look at the run he gets through the chicane, though, Mac. Oh, he didn't get a good run that time.
Yeah, gonna be a slowdown for James Johnson. Had to abort the chicane. That's gonna cost him time, although there are ways in the iRacing official service that you can cheese it just a little bit. You lose a tenth in one corner, a tenth in the next, and then a tenth over the course of a few other corners. And you can pretty much get it made up without slowing down your race pace. And iRacing, they have acknowledged that it was a very buggy and a very dumb system, so they have increased it very recently to 45 seconds to complete it instead of 30. So that really opens things up, and it's not perfect, but it's a fix for the bad system we had in place.
Yeah, and James McRae got a great run coming on to NASCAR 2. Now, he's going to get through the chicane right here. He's got to be perfect. Oh my gosh, look at the run David Busch has.
Yeah, David Busch, a lot of momentum going into that back stretch chicane. The bus stop, so iconic.
Oh my gosh!
At both Daytona and Charlotte, David Busch going to come into the pits for the fuel stop.
Man, that's crazy.
And yeah, now David Busch, he's going to be the first one to do it. Brendan McLaughlin and Gary Brayland both pitted on lap 24, so they did indeed fuel to the end. So technically, Brendan McLaughlin and Gary Brayland are both the first to do it. However, I believe their circumstances were a little bit different with the crash that happened after the restart. So David Busch going to be the first of the leaders to pit, and we'll have to see how the leaders like McRae, Johnson, Preston, and Millette, how they follow suit here.
Yeah, definitely.
As you see, Pat Millette already letting David Busch by, so the pit stop advantage done for Patrick Millette. That is, unfortunately, probably going to be his chances to win the race kind of out of the window. James McRae still leading this race. Doing a very good job in that number 27 Camry.
Yeah.
As through the final bus stop there for James McRae, James Johnson is going to be running in behind him, and it's going to be almost half a second difference for him. So David Busch now the first of the leaders to pit. So it is essentially in his hands. He now has to push the car as fast as possible to make up that gap to James McRae and James Johnson. He also has to kind of hope for a little bit of luck to strike when it comes to some pit lane difficulties for McRae and Johnson. Like maybe catching a back marker as they come out of the pits or something of that angle. But there is 11 laps to go here, so time is running out for these drivers when it comes to their pit window. James McRae, James Johnson, all probably going to have to pit here very, very soon.
Yeah, definitely.
As James Johnson now in P2 in that number 48 Camaro. He is now going to come down pit road. It's going to be a good pit lane entry for him.
Well, Mac, I think he got it from here. I'm gonna have to duck out early. I'll see you next week, man.
Yes, sir. Emmett Crow, thank you for coming along in the booth. We appreciate
problem.
you very, very much. More to the point, David Busch III is now trying to stretch out that strategy. James Johnson coming out of the pit lane. It's going to be a race for the pit lane exit. David Busch is going to be ahead. The effective race lead has gone to David Busch, but James Johnson side by side here. As David Busch trying to get a run down the back straight, he can't get anything. He's mowing the grass into the fourth right-hander before the hairpin. James Johnson, he's gonna lock up the fronts. That's gonna be a good run out for David Busch. Good throttle control as well. This is going to be a fantastic run for the number 32 of David Busch III. Coming up on his favorite corner in the circuit. James Johnson's going to hook the sausage curb just a little bit. It's going to upset the car. The gap is now shrinking. David Busch III is going to be making up time down this entire NASCAR 3 and 4. Coming to the final bus stop. As James Johnson trying to tuck it down on the inside, trying to keep as much of the car on the ground as possible. Into turn 1. David Busch is going to duck off to the inside. He's going to be side by side with James Johnson around turn 2. And now we start the 4 right-handers of the infield. David Busch is repeatedly getting these runs. He's repeatedly keeping the pressure on James Johnson, but James Johnson doing a fantastic job of defending these positions. But now the number 7 of Scott Matthews is in play. But he's not for very long. That's going to be very clean from Scott Matthews. They're going to get around no problem. David Busch now, he's gambling. He's betting on himself. He's going way up the track where the angels sing. He is unfortunately not going to gain time on James Johnson there, but through the bus stop. Oh no, it's going to be pretty dead even. David Busch with just a little bit of an advantage. Brandon McLaughlin is chasing down Curtis Preston for P4. 8 laps to go. Battles are starting to settle in. Drivers are really finding out where they want to be. As for Brandon McLaughlin, he is P5 in the championship. GT Irizarry is not here. So if Brandon McLaughlin can get a good result here, he might jump GT in the standings. Granted, there are drop weeks that will have to be accounted for. But it is week number 13. We're just a few races out from the chase. We go to Auto Club next week, and then that's the chase. I believe. Am I spitting bullcrap? No, I am right. So yes, we go to Auto Club next week, and then starts the chase. James Johnson now in that number 48, trying to chase down the 27 of James McRae. James McRae has yet to pit. And there's a chance. I apologize. I had to cough, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. But I don't think there's a world where James McRae can actually stretch out this fuel number. However, maybe that's the plan. Maybe that is the plan. He's running a 125.9 pretty consistently here. His best is a 125.11. So I'm not entirely sure how the fuel saving numbers really add up in a next-gen car, especially on a road course, but there's a chance 9/10 of a second might be enough pace to save that maybe he's going to stretch this out. He pitted on lap 17. Now, mind you, that was a yellow flag stop. So he hardly used any fuel for 18 and 19. We went back green on lap number 20, I believe. And with the fuel window being 18 to 20 laps, there's a decent chance he's trying to make it to the end. He's got a 25-second gap back to James Johnson. So there is a world where he compromises maybe a second a lap. That would give him 24 laps of wiggle room, which ultimately only 6 laps to go. He can do a whole lot slower than that. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this might be a race against the fuel cell for James McRae in that number 27. If this pans out, I'm going to eat my words. I said at the beginning of the race that with a stage break at lap 15, that kind of killed the ability for fuel saving, for strategy to kind of be the race. As I'm not entirely sure who that was behind James McRae. It might have been Chris Toppings. Chasing down Curtis Preston. So those two battles, respectively, are both going to be increasing James Johnson on James McRae is shrinking. It was 25 seconds, now 23 seconds. So I do believe James Johnson has indeed went into this. Oh no. James McRae having a little bit of connectivity issues. Hopefully it is not going to pull him into the pits, as now James McRae, so the gap is 23 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. We'll stay on board with James McRae, but you have to think there's no way James McRae is going to be able to beat this. Already 15 seconds. It's just going to be a dash of fuel. I mean, just enough to make it 5 laps. But here comes Johnson around turn number 1. James McRae coming out of the pit. It's going to be really close to an illegal pit exit. But James McRae got it done. And oh no, Chris Toppings is going to get in the way of James Johnson, trying to take turn number 3 and 4. Now through turn number 5, James Johnson, it's only going to be 0.8 of a second back to David Busch. And now James McRae with only a 2-second advantage over James Johnson. Stuff's gonna start getting tricky now. For a while, it seemed like James McRae might be going for a battle against strategy. But it looks like it's going to be a battle against another driver after all. James Johnson has shrunk the lead immensely. Throughout the course of this lap, it's going to be a little loose, though, for James Johnson. Coming across the start-finish line, now down into turn number 1. James Johnson going to beat the wall down a little bit. He can't do that too many times, or he's going to damage the right side. Maybe break a toe link or something in that car. As David Busch III in that number 32 Mustang. Oh, he's going to snip the grass just a little bit. Coming out of turn number 5. Now down to the hairpin. They're both going to lock up. David Busch III and James Johnson both going to have a little bit of a lockup session. And all that means is that James McRae is going to extend this lead. David Busch the third working on James Johnson. As, oh no, James Johnson missed a shift or something. David Busch is just right beside him all of a sudden. As David Busch is going to get on the brakes a lot earlier than James Johnson. We'll see James Johnson going to blow through the entire corner. 2 sticks down for these fine gentlemen. As David Busch III is 1.6 seconds back after being side by side with them. Oh no, there's James McRae. He had a moment. Oh no! What happened to our leader, James McRae? The number 27. The number 27 had a moment. I think in turn number 2. As he now sits in P2, James Johnson is going to be in P1. David Busch III now battling with James McRae for P2. So essentially, McRae and Johnson kind of swapped positions and roles. James Johnson is now the leader trying to check out instead of McRae. And McRae is now battling David Busch for P2 instead of Johnson. So it's going to be the bus stop, the final bus stop. More specifically, for the penultimate time, as Barney's going to wave that white flag in the air. As James Johnson only has one more lap of racing. James McRae in P2. David Busch III trying to run him down the race control. Who subbed in for a celeb shot in week number 13. As James Johnson in the number 48 Camaro. That Lowe's 48. Around the first chicane for the final time. James McRae is going to take opportunity from James Johnson having a little bit of snap oversteer when he transferred onto the second curb. James McRae now. They're side by side through the final chicane. They're going to make contact. James Johnson's going to bump James McRae off and then just run David Busch off the other side of the circuit. He just went to war with 2 cars at once. James Johnson just threw race etiquette out the window. I love it. But James McRae is ultimately going to be your winner. Here tonight, it's a last lap. Oh, it's a last lap miracle for the likes of James McRae. Curtis Preston gonna finish best of the rest in P4. Brandon McLaughlin, P5. Gary Brayland is going to be your last finisher on the lead lap in P6. Chris Topping, Scott Matthews, Pat Millett, and Chris Perry. That's going to round out your top 10 and your grid. But take a bow, James McRae. What a night at the road course. The JCE Sports driver bringing home a win, another win, I should say, for that camp. And we'll flash the points just real quick with Blake Cannon not being here. That's going to make this championship run a whole lot spicier heading into Auto Club next week. And we'll take a look at the results real quick before we dive into our Apex Sim Racing post-race show. James Johnson. Oh. Wait a minute. Hello? Well, this isn't correct. Unfortunately. But your running order is going to be James McRae, James Johnson, David Bush III, Curtis Preston, Brandon McLaughlin, Gary Braylon, Chris Toppings, Scott Matthews, Pat Millette, and Chris Perry. And for our first interview of the night, it's going to be the driver that finished P2 here at the Roval, the 48 Camaro of James Johnson. James, you got a copy?
I think you need to recorrect that. Actually, I think the game scored me as a winner because I think James should be getting a black flag for corner cutting the chicane there at the end.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Whoa. Okay, I think you might be right. I think you might be right. So in that event, kind of walk me through it. How did it go? How did it, what were you thinking?
Terrible. This is not how I poorly executed. Obviously I drove away fairly handily drove away in the first stage. Sunday drive, calm as a breeze, but just honestly just forgot. I was more worried about fuel than cold tires and just got a little antsy on that restart and spun it, and then I tried to save in it, and I think I collected, I don't remember who, but I collected the other, either Curtis or Brandon, and I feel bad for that, but I was just trying to save it, and then I knew I had about, I still kept the lead, and then about a couple laps later, I freaking spun it again in turn one, and luckily I didn't get hit. I think I was like 7.5 seconds back from James, and I was like, James, talking to me personally, I was like, drive, because you have 15 laps, you can run them down. And I had a little bit of damage. Before I pitted, I hit the wall and I took wheel damage. I was like, well, that's time to pit, because luckily I had the fast repair, so fixed the car on my thing and just set sail. And then I think when James came out, he had a 2 seconds, and I think I would have caught him, but looks like he made a little mistake in one. With 2 to go, and try to throw a hell of a block, but I like, we're on road, so I was gonna be like Max Verstappen. I was throwing it in there going into, I think that would have been 3, but and I thought I had it, and it's my problem happened at North Wilkesboro when I spun it on the final green-white checkered. I gotta get it out of my head. I haven't won shit until I cross the checkered, get that checkered.
Yeah, I find myself dealing with that a lot as well when I'm on the iRacing official service, so I know I can kind of relate to you on that one. Now, next week we're heading to Auto Club. How do you feel about that? Do you think you're going to be able to keep up this form here?
Okay, so I'll be completely honest. Probably Blake or Nate, if they were here, probably wins this race. I'm not afraid to admit that, but they weren't here. I showed up. I won. Luck is opportunity built on preparation. I had the opportunity to win it. I had the preparation, and I executed. Just poorly, but executed. But I don't know. Those 2-mile tracks, Michigan, Auto Club, honestly, not my strong suit. I'm very good at short tracks. I think if you guys noticed, then but certain mile and a half, so I'm hit or miss on, but I don't know what to expect. But on my day, maybe outside tire management, but I could run a lap or two with Blake and Nate.
Yeah, there is
Just gotta keep the consistency.
Yeah, I agree. There is no doubt about that. But we're going to let you get out of here and celebrate. But before we do, is there anybody you would like to shout out or thank for tonight's performance?
Just like to thank my girlfriend. I know she's watching, and just want to shout her out. Thank you. And by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got dropped by Joe. I don't know if y'all are UFC fans, but look at me now, son. I won this race. Don't know why you dropped me. Oh, look at me now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. James Johnson, congratulations. Hope to see you in the booth more often, and have a fantastic night, man.
Thank you. Thank you for calling the race.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man. And now we're going to bring in the lovely race control who was the ringer for tonight, called his celeb shot, cashed in a race like cashing in Money in the Bank. David Bush III, how you feeling, man? How did it go?
I'm feeling overall pretty good. The end was as spectacular as I thought it would be. I wish I could have held the car up a little bit and crossed over Johnson there towards the end, but it is what it is. I'm here for the one-off, and I don't want to mess with the points too much. I just wanted to have a good, clean race.
Yes, sir. Well, that you did, and we talked for an extensive bit there in practice, and you had to, I mean, I was confident as well. I was confident in you. You were confident in you. And unfortunately, the first stage of the race kind of didn't really go your way. Was it a little bit of a kind of like a wake-up call, or?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to chill through the first half and see if I could make it to where we wouldn't have to stop. I didn't want to have to make that pit stop there on the second half of the race, but after I made that mistake going into one in the first stage, I knew that I just needed to just start pushing the car and drive it as quick as I could. But I didn't have I definitely didn't have the pace that Johnson had, and most of the race I didn't have the pace that McRae had either.
Well, you got it done though. You're on the podium here in your one-off, in your little debut / one-off tribute show. You know, I don't really know what else to call it. But, hey, man, the floor is yours. Whoever you have to thank or shout out for this performance.
Big shout out to Racer Nexus, the Tobacco Road League admins for putting this stuff on. The lunatic laying pipe crew that I've got repping on the car tonight. It was a good bit of fun, a little change of pace for me, and I look forward to being back up in the tower next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And missed you as race control, but it was fun seeing you out on track. So, yeah, we're going to let you get out here and celebrate that podium. Your P3 finisher in the number 32 Mustang, David Bush III.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As James McRae was in the waiting room and he dipped out, maybe he didn't have time or something. So, unfortunate there. I would have loved to get a chance to talk to James McRae there. Kind of get his frame of mind. But, yeah, I think there is a big shakeup in the results. I do believe these results are going to stand. So I assume what I'm showing you guys here is what the final ruling is. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am not here to be biased in any way, shape, or form. However, I personally do not think these results are what the real results should be. However, how it lays out in front of me is James Johnson, not part of LJG Racing anymore. He is going to take the win. David Bush III in P2 with Lunatic Racing. Curtis Preston, after having himself a couple of moments early on in the night, is going to find himself on the podium for Outsiders Racing. Brandon McLaughlin in P4. James McRae P5. Whew. Gary Braylon, P6. Chris Toppings, P7. Scott Matthews, P8. Patrick Millette, P9. Chris Perry in P10. And then look, guys, there's me right there, broadcast. Woohoo! Just outside of the top 10. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been an incredible night here at the Roval. What fun racing we got to witness. Couple of notes here. Big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. If you need a wheel, a wheelbase, pedals, sound system, chassis, anything sim racing related, please go. It says North Wilkesboro again on this race info, and I'm telling you, I'm changing it. This happened last week. But anyway, that really messed up the flow of my ad read here. But go to Apex Sim Racing, use the code RacerNexus for 5% off your order. You can build a bundle on there from Fanatec, Moza, and Sim Magic, I believe. So build yourself a bundle, get 5% off, get invested in the game, get invested in the sim racing atmosphere. It's never been better, and it's only going up from here. I can assure you that. Also, big shout out to Track Cams for Gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast. My name is Mac Nelson. My broadcast partner, Emmett Crow, had to depart early. He had to do double duty tonight. Not entirely sure where you can catch him at, but you can indeed catch him somewhere. He's out there. He's somewhere out there. That's going to be it for us, folks. If you need your league broadcasted, contact my boss man, Rob Campbell, in the description below. You can find the Discord. You can get a hold of him. You guys can get something worked out. You might even be able to hear my voice on your broadcast. You never know. Hey, you can even request me if you want. I don't know. I don't know if that's a thing, but hey, maybe you can do that. That's going to be it for us, ladies and gentlemen. From everyone here, hope you had a fantastic night. Thank you for inviting us into your homes for a Wednesday night. Next week, it's going to be Auto Club, and then we start the chase. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. We'll see you in the next one.